Good morning. The president's jet hit major turbulence over Texas last night, creating a mess in the aisles and no doubt some anxious moments for the 72 people aboard Air Force One. The president was strapped safely in his seat at the time and joked afterward that it was certainly a character builder, and he's safely in South Carolina today, Wednesday, June the 12th, 1996.
From NBC News, this is Today with Bryant Gumbel and Katie Couric, live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
And welcome to Today on this Wednesday morning, everybody. I'm Katie Couric.
And I'm Matt Lauer. Bryant has the week off, and I'm filling in. And apparently this was one nasty flight. They say Mexican food was flying all over the place. Secret Service agents flying through the aisles.
Secret Service agents going up 2 feet in the air. Can you imagine?
And give me the Dramamine and get me out of there.
Apparently drinks were flying up and going back in people's hands. Well, what does Erica Jong say? There's no such thing as atheists on a turbulent aircraft.
That's true.
It must have been a really, really scary experience. I'm sure the president is very happy, as well as everybody else on board, that they're on solid ground this morning. Anyway, moving on, today marks the 2nd anniversary of the brutal murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. In our first half hour this morning, we're going to hear from the sisters of the victims, Denise Brown and Kim Goldman, and see how they're coping on this sad anniversary. Matt?
Also, we'll have the 3rd installment of our series on how to talk to your kids. Today, the topic is talking to them about drugs and alcohol. And Jim Carrey, star of the new movie The Cable Guy, is back this morning with revealing stories about his childhood. I think you'll like this one.
He must have had some kind of childhood, right? With Father's Day coming up this Sunday, it's time to start thinking about picking out that special gift for Dad, one that won't break a child's piggy bank in the process. And Martha Stewart will be along to talk about gelatin.
Not Jell-O.
No, gelatin.
Okay.
Right. Did you know that gelatin is made by boiling cow bones and hide?
I used to love Jell-O.
I think that's a case of a little too much information. But first, we're going to head over to the news desk. And Ann Curry. Ann, good morning.
Good morning, Katie, Matt. Good morning, everybody. The roller coaster ride of hope and disappointment in Montana may soon be about to end. Some authorities now predict an imminent surrender in the Freeman standoff with the FBI. NBC's David Bloom joins us now from Jordan, Montana with more. David, good morning.
Good morning, Ann. Despite all the false starts, all the dashed hopes, negotiators here in Montana now believe that this 2.5-month-old standoff between the Freeman and the FBI could end peacefully this week, perhaps as early as tomorrow. A newly emerged leader of the Freeman, Edwin Clark, returned to Jordan, Montana last night. Clark was whisked by the FBI to the Freeman Ranch, then was joined by about a dozen of his fellow anti-government protesters who followed Clark into a barn at the compound, presumably to discuss the substance of his meeting with jailed Freeman leader Leroy Schweitzer. The FBI said it had agreed to give Clark safe passage to fly to Billings, Montana to meet with Schweitzer, quote, in an effort to reach a peaceful solution and the surrender of all of those at the Freeman-occupied ranch. Clark is thought to be more moderate than some of the 17 remaining Freemen, many of whom face state and federal charges ranging from bounced checks to threatening to kill a federal judge, which is why negotiators who spent the last 80 days trying to lure the Freemen out of their remote Montana ranch are now cautiously optimistic that some, if not all of them, will soon emerge peacefully. But last night, a top federal law enforcement source cautioned we're close, but he said it's still going to take some time. Nothing, he said, is ever simple with the Freemen. And
thank you, David. As Katie and Matt reported, for President Clinton last night, a rough ride aboard Air Force One. Heading to South Carolina, the presidential jet ran into turbulence over Texas. The shaky sky sent food flying and glassware tumbling. The president was not hurt, but a Secret Service agent suffered cuts on his hand from broken glass. The president is in South Carolina to dramatize the federal government's response to a wave of arson fires at southern black churches. NBC's Jim Miklashevsky is traveling with the president, and he's here now with us from Greeleyville, South Carolina. Good morning, Jim. Jim, were you aboard that plane?
Fortunately, Ann, I was on the press plane and not on Air Force One, but my colleagues who were on the plane say it was quite a ride. Now, this morning, we're standing in front of the new Mount Zion Church for today's dedication ceremonies. A mile down the road is the old church, destroyed a year ago by an arson fire. The Mount Zion AME Church in Greeleyville was torched a year ago. Mount Zion's pastor is certain racism provided the spark.
I think we have a serious problem in our country that we have to look at.
President Clinton has made the issue a top priority. Today, he'll announce new coordinated efforts between local and federal lawmen to increase protection, enforcement, and prosecutions. And he'll ask Congress for $10 million in HUD loan guarantees to help burned-out churches rebuild. In Congress, Republicans will introduce a bill to spend another $12 million on the federal investigations.
Bottom line is we're not going to tolerate this kind of crime. We're going to put a stop to it and do everything in our power that we can to do that.
But the issue is not so clear-cut. 32 black churches have been set ablaze in the past 18 months, and federal investigators have found no evidence of any widespread racial conspiracy. Still, the White House also sees this as a big political opportunity for President Clinton, the chance to evoke a Kennedy-esque image and tie himself to the kind of legacy that grew out of the civil rights struggle in the 60s, hoping it will play even better in the 90s. And evidence that there is a little politics being played here. The actual dedication of the church isn't until Saturday. And Jesse Jackson was a last-minute addition to today's program. Ann?
All right, Jim, thank you for your report this morning. For his part, Bob Dole is facing Democratic criticism for allegedly spending too much of his campaign money. Democrats plan to file a complaint today with the Federal Election Commission. Dole is now a full-time candidate after spending his last day in the Senate Tuesday. In an emotional ceremony, Dole resigned, saying that he has a lot of mixed feelings leaving the Senate, but no regrets. For more now on Dole's present and future, NBC's Tim Russert is standing by in Washington. Tim, good morning.
Good morning, Ann.
Almost immediately after resigning, Dole jumped right into the debate, the big issue of abortion, into the war within his own party over this, saying that the Republican Party has room for both pro-choice and pro-life Republicans. Is this a good political move on his part?
And I think Citizen Dole has decided the only way he can win the presidency is by emerging as a mainstream conservative, a centrist. That's why yesterday in his statement, he not only took on some of the abortion forces in his party, he also talked about Social Security, food stamps, aid to disabilities with Americans with disabilities. Those are the kinds of issues he talked about. He praised 19 Democrats. He very much is trying to carve out the role of a man in the center.
But what's he going to do to the Republican Party?
Well, he believes the party can hold. Frankly, Ann, you have to make a calculation. Where else do the more conservative elements of the Republican Party have to go? Senator Dole believes they're going to be with him in the end. He has to reach out to the suburban voters, to the centrist voters, to the independent voters, and that's what you saw yesterday in play on the Senate floor and beyond.
Dole also said that he doubts very much that Colin Powell will join the ticket, as been speculated earlier this week. Can we now kill the speculation?
I think Colin Powell did that some time ago. He said he would not seek elective office in 1996. I think people who know him take him at his word. And I believe yesterday Senator Dole publicly said what people have been saying privately, that Colin Powell will not be on the ticket this year.
On the other side, Democratic President, obviously, Bill Clinton has been under some fire recently because of some FBI files that were found in the White House, some confidential files on Republicans. How big a deal is this, Tim?
We don't know yet, Ann. If it is, as the White House explains, it will not be a big deal. However, there will be hearings next week in the Congress. If a high-level White House official, if, I underscore, had seen those documents or used them politically, it would be a major disaster for the administration. There is no evidence of this at this moment. You know, the Republicans are trying to throw everything at the president right now. They say he's Teflon. They're trying to find the Velcro, Ann, on the so-called character issue. But as of now, nothing has stuck.
All right. Tim Russert, thank you so much this morning.
Okay.
In other news this morning, this is the decision day for controversial Cincinnati Reds owner Marge Schott. She's expected to be suspended by Major League Baseball unless she gives up control of the team. She came under fire recently for making favorable comments about Hitler. In Seattle tonight, it's Game 4 of the NBA Finals between the Bulls and the Supersonics. Chicago leads it 3-0, and tonight could wrap up its 4th NBA championship in 6 years. That game at 9 o'clock. Here on NBC. It is now 7:09. Let's go back to Katie, Matt, now.
Thank you so much, Ann. Okay. And Al Roker is here with the check of the weather. And
these thunderstorms, what the president's plane hit, were like near Lubbock, Texas last night?
Right. And
they tried to get above it, but apparently...
These were some giant thunderstorms over a mile into the atmosphere. And these thunderstorms are going to be moving east. Here we are going to be looking at some very heavy thunderstorms going to be under the gun from Cleveland all the way to Albany, Baltimore, flood watches. These are slow movers, severe thunderstorms, 1 to 4 inches possible with these storms. Rest of the country, well, we are looking at a big area of thunderstorms all the way from Texas, the same ones that caused problems for the president, up into the plains, fog through the central Great Lakes. Out west, gorgeous, lots of sunshine, 72 Seattle, 77 in Los Angeles. More hit-or-miss showers and thunderstorms down in central and southern Florida. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Thanks, Al, and good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Todd Gross again. At 70 now, our other weather spotters across eastern Mass, generally in the upper 60s, the exception 64 down on the Cape and 65 degrees up at Jaffrey, New Hampshire. That's about the entire range, though, 64 to 70 this morning. My forecast today, not looking that great late this afternoon, but for a while will be sunny. Sunny periods, hazy sun, muggy, a brief shower or thunderstorm again developing late day in a few spots. Then for tomorrow, it looks like the same, and Friday partly sunny.
It's 7:10. Now here's Katie.
Thanks, Al. On Close-Up this morning, remembering Nicole and Ron. 2 years ago, Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman were murdered. Their tragedy captured the nation and forever changed the lives of their families. Since that night, Nicole's sister, Denise Brown, has become a tireless advocate for battered women. Tonight, she'll mark the 2nd anniversary of her sister's death by attending a candlelight vigil for all victims of domestic violence. Denise Brown joins us from Dana Point, California. Denise, good morning.
Good morning, Katie.
Does it seem like 2 years, Denise?
You know what? Time goes by so fast, and I think that this is even tougher this year. The first year, I think it was more like you're in a state of shock, but this year, it's reality, and I think that that makes it more difficult.
Tonight, you will, as I mentioned, be a part of a candlelight vigil. Why is it so important that you mark the anniversary this way?
You know, I think it's real important for a lot of reasons. One, I love to see Nicole up there looking down on all of us, seeing candles all across the world, all across our country. You know, that people are there supporting her, supporting Ron, supporting all the victims of domestic violence. I think it's real important for victims themselves. If you're at your home, you see somebody outside with a candle lit, I think it means something to the victims themselves that they can go to that place, that it is a safe haven, that they can turn to those people if they are in need of help. And I think for a batterer, it shows another side that, hey, we're not going to put up with domestic violence.
You know, as I mentioned, Denise, you have been a tireless advocate for this cause. What is your proudest accomplishment in this arena since you got involved?
You know, I think it's educating myself, learning about domestic violence, and also being able to grant out over $163,000 last year, which was our first year of inception. And I think that I'm very, very proud of.
And where did that money go, Denise?
That went to battered women's shelters and educational programs.
We mentioned the candlelight vigil. How does your family plan to mark the anniversary in a more private way? Do you know what they have planned and what they will do, and how are they dealing with it in general?
You know what, Katie, I think it's just going to be a very quiet day. I don't know if we're going to go to the cemetery because I don't want, you know, the photographers and things like that will be there, and I don't really know if I want to deal with that on the day of. So I think it'll be a quiet day for us.
How are Nicole's children, Sydney and Justin, getting along?
Oh, they're doing great. You know, what people have to understand is that if they didn't know who they were, if they would just see them walking down the street, you'd think that they were normal kids living a normal life. You would know the pain that they're suffering.
Are they suffering?
Well, I think they are. I mean, they lost their mother. I think any child who loses their mother is suffering, yeah. I think it's very painful for them because it's very painful for me, and I didn't lose a mother.
Denise, I know that the kids see their father, every other weekend. They visit him in Brentwood. Have they come to any kind of understanding about the charges he faced now that a little time has passed?
You know what, Katie, I'd rather not talk about that because I'd rather not.
Do they talk about their mother a lot, Denise?
You know what, we do. We talk about her all the time still. We talk about things that we used to do when we were growing up, Nicole and I as children. I think that keeps her alive for Sydney.
What do you miss most about Nicole?
Just her being here, her presence, being able to pick up the phone and call her, and I can't do that anymore. And I think that's probably the toughest thing.
Let me ask you, Denise, about some of the things that O.J. Simpson has been doing lately. I'm sure you probably saw the reports of his appearance on that London television show and at Oxford. He has made himself available to the media on a number of occasions, perhaps in an effort to rehabilitate his image. What is your impression of what he's doing? What's your reaction?
You know what, Katie? I don't talk about him. I have no reaction.
You don't talk about him at all, period?
No. And you know, the civil case I've got, I'm still under oath. I'm still subpoenaed, so I don't talk about that either. I think there's more important issues here. I think saving women and children's lives is more important than speaking about him. Everybody else does. So I don't think there's any need.
Are you still angry? Are you still furious?
You know, Katie, I think I'll always be angry. And but what I've done is I've channeled that anger into a more positive direction. And I think that's okay. And I think it's okay to be angry. Yeah, you know, you lose your sister in such a tragic, horrible way that, yeah, of course you're going to be angry. And I think you're going to stay angry for a long time.
The civil trial is set to get underway on September 9th. Without getting into specifics, are you confident? Do you feel optimistic about the civil trial and about the outcome?
You know what? I don't really have an opinion on that at all. I think what's going to happen is going to happen. And it's not in my hands. And it never will be in my hands. The only thing I can do is just keep on working and focusing my attentions on what I'm doing.
How are your folks doing?
They're doing okay. They're doing okay. It's a tough time. I think reality is set in for them too, and I think that makes it just that much more difficult.
Denise Brown in Dana Point, California. Denise, thanks very much for talking with us.
Thanks, Katie.
Now here's Matt.
All right, Katie, thank you. Ron Goldman's sister, Kim, says her family will also observe this day quietly and privately. But for the Goldmans, the past 2 years have been anything but quiet or private. Here's NBC's Kelly O'Donnell.
This is where the Goldman family goes to escape the last 2 years. Back to memories of a happier time saved on videotape.
He was beautiful, charming, loving, caring, dedicated, and wanted nothing but the best for everyone he knew.
Here, Ron Goldman was celebrating at a family party.
I'm very glad that I was able to be here and spend this time with you, because God knows where I'll be in a year.
7 months later, the Goldmans' lives were shattered.
One-time Hall of Fame football star being led away by police for questioning.
And ever since then, the country has watched an ordinary family try to cope with an extraordinary and tragic twist of fate, a family consumed by grief.
I love my son dearly.
And we're gonna miss him a lot.
And we'll miss him.
And anger.
These last few days have pushed me to the edge.
Outrage.
This man is a disgrace to human beings. No.
And shock.
Not guilty of the crime of murder.
For the Goldmans, particularly Ron's younger sister, Kim, the pain is just as sharp today as it was 2 years ago.
I just think about how much I miss him. He's still with me all the time, and it's very painful.
The defendant having been acquitted of...
Absolutely convinced the jury made a mistake, Kim Goldman says her family is ready to fight O.J. Simpson with their own trial.
He's a liar and he's a murderer, and no matter how much character and how much charm you may have, his lying and murdering tendencies will come through.
Kim says her family's lawsuit against Simpson is not about money, but is about righting a wrong.
The only reason that we're doing this is for justice, and it's just to hear those 12 people say that he's responsible.
The Goldman's lawyer, Daniel Petrocelli, says he feels a special burden to win the civil case. Not just for his clients, but for anyone else who believes a guilty man walked free.
When you hear Kim and Patty and Fred talk about their feelings about wanting justice and fighting for Ron, this is what inspires us and motivates us and puts us on a mission to do whatever is humanly possible to give them the best possible result we can get from a court of law.
But suing O.J. Simpson for wrongful death won't be cheap. It will take millions of dollars. The Goldmans aren't rich, but they are receiving help from people across the country.
I want to tell people that we appreciate all the love and the support that still continues to come 2 years later.
In return, the Goldmans are supporting new laws to help future crime victims, including a law in California that would make certain hearsay evidence admissible.
Please help this bill pass. Thank you.
But for Kim, the greatest priority right now is fighting for a young man who was her best friend.
Ron and I made a bond and a deal with one another way back when that we would never do anything to let the other one down. And it's because of my love for him and because of his love for me and my family that we are able to get through each day. I think people need to remember that on June 12th and to not focus all their attention on the man that murdered them and got away with it, but to remember Ron and Nicole and the other people that lost their lives and to honor their memory in a positive way. And that's what we ask.
For today, Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, Los Angeles.
And as Katie mentioned a little earlier, Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson will be remembered at 2 candlelight vigils in Southern California tonight. One at Salt Creek Beach Park, that's in Dana Point. The other at the Federal Building in West Los Angeles. Both begin at 9:30 p.m. Pacific time. And we're back in a moment. This is Today on NBC.
Nice shot. Not really. I was aiming for the other sofa.
Welcome to Movie News. I'm Rob Weller. Last weekend, audiences broke into theaters to see the #1 box office smash, The Rock. Michael Bay, the director behind the Simpson-Bruckheimer blockbuster, knows how to deliver the action, but he can also punch up the laughs.
You've been around a lot of corpses. Can you do something about it?
Like what? Kill him again?
That's the greatest thing about their characters. They're very funny together.
I'm just a biochemist. I drive a Volvo.
The Rock is now playing. The countdown has begun for one of the biggest events in movie history. The Hunchback of Notre Dame premieres June 19th for 65,000 people at the Superdome in New Orleans. The Hunchback of Notre Dame opens everywhere June 21st. And superstar John Travolta has a change of heart and mind in Phenomenon, playing an ordinary guy given an extraordinary gift.
What is going on, George?
I don't know.
Phenomenon starts Wednesday, July 3rd. For Movie News, I'm Rob Weller.
Summer. One day it's beautiful. The next, watch out. But whatever the conditions are, the 7 Weather Team will keep you covered. For the most accurate and reliable forecasts all summer long, turn to the 7 Weather Team. Only on 7 News.
Betrayed by the man she loved the most.
It still hurts.
See how she's rebuilding her life on the next Real Life.
Today at 10 on 7 NBC.
Coming up in our next half hour, you're going to have more of your conversation with Jim Carrey.
Yesterday, we talked about the money he was receiving for the cable guy, $20 million. Today, we'll talk a little bit about his childhood. As you might imagine, he was a bit of a cut-up.
I have had that feeling, but first, your local news.
With a Pentium processor inside your PC, you have a doorway to legendary internet sites like St. Andrews. For the best of the internet, it's the Intel Pentium processor. With a Pentium processor inside your PC, you have a doorway to fascinating programs like 3D Atlas. For the best of PC software, it's the Intel Pentium processor.
I stopped off at Sid's Deli to talk shop with Special Agent Aaron Clark, but all I wanted to talk about was thin sliced bologna and fresh egg bread with a kick of Miracle Whip. Mail?
Miracle Whip's Detective Holiday style.
Annie knew just what it took to drive a sandwich wild. With a third less fat than mayo and that tangy zip, nothing makes a sandwich like Miracle Whip.
Jack?
Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were alone.
It wasn't how it looked, but it didn't look good.
Who was that?
A friend, I hope.
I gotta get something for my dad.
What about a golf cart? He loves golf.
A hedge trimmer.
So light, only $19.99.
Some aftershave.
What about golf shirts? $5.99.
Tools.
Look at all the colors.
I got an idea. I'll get him golf supplies.
Am I here? Are there two of us here?
Maybe a shirt or the cart?
I love these little chats.
Golf shirts, $5.99. Golf cart, $19.99. It's Father's Day at today's Kmart.
Playing through.
Where you going? Hey, you wait for me.
The best regular season, the most dominant playoffs. Can the Chicago Bulls become the greatest team in NBA history? Bulls Sonics Game 4, tonight on NBC.
To me, there's nothing more important than bringing a healthy child into this world. Nothing. And it starts right away. Lamaze classes, diet, counseling, everything. Until finally, the big moment. Ta-da! Sometimes I feel like an official greeter for the planet Earth. By the way, these are a few of my kids. I never forget a face, especially one with a little drool on it.
Cadillac DeVille is now better than ever with the North Star system. Which means, if you're looking for more power and control in your life, now's the perfect time to trade up to a new DeVille. Now just $469 a month with $26.75 down. You won't be the only one.
But don't wait, because this offer ends soon. See your Cadillac dealer today.
7 News is brought to you in part by Rotman's.
This is a 7 News update.
Good morning. Welcome back to 7 News on another muggy morning. I'm Kim Casey. Already 70 degrees, but the rain could be behind us at least for the morning. We'll check in on that forecast and the commute right after our top stories. A cancer scare in Mashpee. Water tests show signs of a cancer-causing chemical in the town's well water. Town leaders have voted to pay for installing water filtration systems in dozens of homes. Health officials suspect the source is groundwater pollution from Auget Incorporated on Route 28. That company manufactures electronic parts. Cambridge police are getting a jump start on summer by launching what they call Operation Summer Crackdown. Cambridge police have more than 28 arrest warrants. They began the crackdown on suspected drug dealers last night. They've made at least 4 arrests so far. The Cambridge Police Department is targeting people who sell crack cocaine. Now on to the weather. After some pretty tough sleeping weather last night, we're getting sort of a sequel to yesterday, but the upside is I think there is some sunshine tucked into the day. Here's Todd Gross with details.
Kim, it's a tempting beach day. We're starting out at 70. A band of showers has passed us by, and that leaves us muggy and partly sunny for the time being. The dew point temperature at 68. It's climbing, so it's a very uncomfortable day. Good for the beach, but look out for a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms. Check out my forecast right through tomorrow. Same old story. Sunny periods, muggy, a brief shower or thunderstorm each afternoon or evening. Yesterday, it didn't happen until the nighttime hours, but today it could happen before dark. Temperatures in the 80s, cooler on the south coast of the Cape of the Islands. Tomorrow's chance is a little higher of those showers, and then Friday, partly sunny, warm, dry, less humid, and those nice conditions lasting into the weekend. See you in 5 minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. We'll check that morning commute as soon as we come back.
Rotman's customers come from everywhere.
I'm from Boston.
Westboro.
Natick. Stowe, Mass.
I'm from Ghana.
Just like the directions said in the ad.
From Mass Pike. I-190 to 290. Route 9. Very easy. On, off.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. They have a very good variety here.
I was impressed.
It's big.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than other places we went to, and I don't bother going anywhere else anymore. Fantastic.
Fantastic. I know. You are fantastic.
It will be impossible to catch your breath, to keep your cool, to believe your eyes. Rated PG-13. Now playing in theaters everywhere.
And meet those dancing feet.
Now playing through June 16th.
Taking you to 42nd Street.
Now, 7 News, New England's news station, does it again. 7 News is first at 4. Your first look at the headlines.
Just not safe to be out.
First weather. Your first look at the stories that impact you and your family. The 7 News team brings you 7 News first at 4. Starting Monday on 7 NBC. Another first from 7 News.
Well, it's just about 7:30. You might be heading out the door trying to make it to work. Let's see what you're in store for as far as the drive goes. Here's traffic reporter Bill Whiteman.
Slow, especially south of the city. Kim, as we take a look at downtown, the artery, very slow and heavy at the Callahan off-ramps. Lower deck now, you're out to Assembly Square. Tobin almost back to the Toll Plaza. Problems coming up Route 1. Let's take a look at the maps. As we were saying, south of the city, X-Way right now is locked up. Here we go. Starting here in the South Station Tunnel all the way back to the Braintree Merge, and you have problems with traffic lights at Freeport Street on Morrissey Boulevard. Expect delays there. Bill Whiteman, 7 News Today in New England.
I'm Kim Casey. Thanks for joining us. Back in less than 30 minutes.
We're back at 7:30 on this Wednesday morning, the 12th day of June, 1996. And summer isn't even here yet because summer begins, what, June 21st? Is that right?
20th.
June 20th?
But it feels like
corrected.
summer here. It's been sticky for the last couple of days.
That's right. Very muggy and, as Al would say, kind of close. And particularly close for all those people outside. I hope they didn't forget their shore this morning. We've got lots of signs out there, and we're going to head out there momentarily. I'm Katie Couric here with Matt Lauer, who's filling in for Bryant, who's off for a few days, and Al Roker will be giving us an update on the weather in just a few moments. You're saying hit or miss showers because
especially
you're not sure?
Late in the afternoon.
That keeps you covered, doesn't
showers
it?
Well, it's not a well-defined system that's coming in, but we'll have a build-up of heat and humidity, and generally speaking, late in the day, we get the heavy showers.
Sorry, I asked, Al.
Well, don't make me defensive!
Challenge him.
Coming up in this half hour, we've got some Father's Day gift suggestions tailored to your child's wallet, something special that they can probably pay for themselves. Matt?
So these are cheap Father's Day gifts?
Yes.
Didn't we do expensive Mother's Day gifts?
That ladder going across the back. Yeah, these are affordable gifts that will really touch a dad's heart because the child goes out and buys the gift himself or herself. Yeah, inexpensive.
Okay, just want to make sure dads are getting their fair share. Also, we're going to see a different side of Jim Carrey this morning. He'll reminisce about his childhood. It turns out he was always funny, as you might imagine, but he too had some rough times. His latest movie, by the way, The Cable Guy, opens on Friday.
But first, let's go to the news desk and Ann Curry. Ann, good morning again.
Good morning again, Katie. The 80-day standoff between the FBI and the Freemen could be coming to an end perhaps as early as tomorrow. Tuesday, Freeman leader Edwin Clark was taken from the compound to meet with one of the group's jailed leaders. They reportedly discussed a government proposal for a surrender. Clark returned to the compound last night to present the deal to the others who were holed up there. President Clinton had a rough ride aboard Air Force One last night when the plane hit a bank of thunderstorms over Texas. Passengers flew out of their seats, food splattered on walls, and plates rolled down the aisles. The president was unharmed. Bob Dole retired from the Senate Tuesday to run full-time for the presidency. But today, that campaign may be in some financial trouble. Democrats charge that Dole is $340,000 over the legal spending limit for primaries. Dole dismisses that claim. Violent weather struck a fuel storage tank in New Jersey Tuesday. Officials say lightning struck the tank, igniting 3 million gallons of gasoline. Firefighters hope to have the fire out by this afternoon. It's Game 4 tonight between the Chicago Bulls and the Seattle Supersonics. The Bulls lead it 3-0 and hope to wrap up their 4th title in 6 years. That game at 9 tonight here on NBC. It is now 7:32. Time for the weather and Al.
Today's weather is brought to you by Cotton Incorporated. Cotton, the fabric of our lives.
And good morning, all. We got a young lady here. Your grandma's in the hospital?
Yes, sir, she is. She just had open heart surgery, and right before I came here, she said that she wanted me to get on this show, and she loves watching you and the weather and everything.
What's your name?
Kate Clark.
And where's Grandma?
She's in Montgomery, Alabama.
All right, Grandma, we hope you get better.
Thank you.
And we got another Grandma wish here, too. Look at this sign. This is very good. You put yourself into your work.
Yep.
What's your name?
Shannon.
Shannon, you want to wish your grandma a happy 50th birthday?
Yep.
All right, well, and where's Grandma?
She's in Port Huron, Michigan.
All right, well, say happy birthday to Grandma.
Happy birthday.
All righty, there you go. And now, of course, everybody knows Grandma's 50. Yikes! Anyway, well, that's a very nice wish. Let's check your weather, see what you're wishing for weather-wise. And if you're wishing for a comfortable day, well, you have to go out west because it is dry. It is dry out there, but everywhere, the eastern 2/3 of the country, humid to oppressive. Strong storms later on in the afternoon from the mid-Atlantic states on up into the northeast, and heavy storms also from the plains down into Texas. Out west, gorgeous showers through the Ohio Valley, mid-Mississippi, Tennessee valleys as well. Warm and humid as you get down into the Gulf Coast, and heavy showers and thunderstorms in central and southern Florida. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Thanks, Al. Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Todd Gross. 71 right now downtown, and we do have a band of showers which has pushed on through over the course of the last couple of hours. A narrow band did get us wet, but most of you were sleeping. No problem. We do have some more showers that may crop in late this afternoon or early this evening, but until that time, it's partly sunny all the way. You can see the breaks in the clouds. My forecast, intervals of clouds and sun right through tomorrow. Daytime highs in the 80s and muggy. Overnight lows near 70. Southwest winds 10 to 22. Better weather on Friday.
And we got a big old sign here, Cameron. I love you, Erica. Who? You got a whole bunch of people. What's your name?
That's David Brent.
And who are you trying to say hi to?
This is my son and daughter.
All right.
From
Well,
Virginia.
tell them hi.
Hello, hey, Cameron and Erica. Congratulations, Cameron, on your graduation.
Oh, that's great. All right. A card would be nice, too. That's your latest weather. Now back inside to Katie.
A card and maybe a car. Okay,
Hey.
Thanks, Al. Coming up next, Mac, those one-on-one, if I can get that out, with Jim Carrey. That's right after these messages.
Easy. Turn your wheel. It's all right. Okay.
It's making me nervous.
I'm sorry. A little slower. Good job.
Which way?
Okay. I won't say anything unless...
Mom. Memory plays tricks on you. There are moments when you are your own mother and your own daughter at the same time. This is the fabric of our lives. This is cotton.
Things break every day.
They shatter.
They fall.
They spill.
They smash.
They break down. Every day.
So we thought it might be nice to keep our prices low. Every day. On things you might need. Every day. We understand you can't wait for a 3-day weekend for things to go on sale.
Because things don't wait for a 3-day weekend to break.
True Value. Help is just around the corner.
Don't you wish we could just do this to air pollution? We can help. If homes and industries, power plants and vehicles would just switch to natural gas. Clean, economical natural gas. Think what we'll save.
It's Red Lobster's new seafood grill sensation.
The heat is on.
With great new taste like our new grilled shrimp dinner. A plate full of large, juicy grilled shrimp. Just $8.99 for a short time.
The heat is on.
Now at Red Lobster.
Whoa, there you go. Hi, Froggy. I fly my spaceship all the way to Jupiter. I swim way across the ocean, even to New Hampshire. I look for pirates in my submarine.
Avon Skin So Soft Sun Care Plus. The mosquito and deer tick repellent with an SPF 30 waterproof sunblock. Protecting the skin of the next generation of superheroes. Just another Avon ladies' man.
The fish are up.
Lure your family up with Folgers.
Empty.
Naturally decaffeinated Folgers. Made from mountain-grown beans, like regular Folgers.
Who gets up this early?
For the same great aroma and taste.
Nothing wakes me up like Folgers, except...
Yeah, except Uncle John snoring.
So the only thing that might tell someone they were drinking decaffeinated is you.
Hey, guys, I was thinking next year maybe we could switch to decaf.
Decaf.
The littlest victims, helpless and too often forgotten, but not here. Norman Schwarzkopf with ordinary people doing the extraordinary. An American Dream, NBC Nightly News tonight.
Jim Carrey's new movie, The Cable Guy, opens this weekend, and it's expected to add to the actor's already impressive history at the box office. In the second part of our two-part interview, I asked Carrey about his childhood and about the source of his humor.
1, 2, 3.
When the truth is found to be light, and all the joy within you died. Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody?
Let's talk a little bit about your childhood. You were obviously the class clown. Did your friends think you were very funny or just funny?
No, they thought it was insanely funny. You know, people would come from miles around to look at the freak. Basically is what it was. Even in my own home, I mean, basically it was, you know, you've got to come over and see what Jim's doing, because it's really going to make you sick.
Did they think you'd be successful?
They always pushed me to be successful. They always encouraged it and thought it was really special, but I don't think they had any idea this stuff was going to happen.
Boom!
Stop me!
Were your parents funny?
My father is hilarious, was hilarious. Very, very funny man. Incredibly animated. I mean, didn't just like tell a story. He was like, and, because the thing is, what? Just like completely a cartoon when he told the story.
What about your mom?
My mom was a door slammer. My mom kept us all in line. Basically, she was the one with the temper. So I got both.
So when you were sitting in front of the mirror making faces to practice, did she encourage your sense of humor, or did she tolerate your sense of humor?
No, she thought it was great, but it was funny, because one time my mother, only one time in my life, she said, well, what if you don't make it? Like that, and it was devastating to me, because I had never heard it before. I'd never heard, maybe you won't make it, in my life.
What'd you say to her?
Screw you, Ma. No. I said, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. Because I didn't have any other dream, you know?
Your dad lost his job when you were 14, I think.
Yeah, 13, 14.
Which had an incredibly detrimental effect on your family.
Mm-hmm.
You were forced to work at some jobs I'm sure you didn't want to do.
Yeah.
You were technically homeless for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find the ability to still find humor during that time?
Yeah, well, the funny thing was that we were all working a job together that we hated so much that it was changing us. As a family, we'd always been, you know, so loving, and when he lost his job and we all started working at the same factory, we started to change, and we started to, suddenly there was like a racist talk at the dinner table where there had never been before, and there was anger talk, and just like we were different people. We were becoming different people, and we decided to throw in the towel. And it really was a choice to go into the van and take off on the road. So we were actually happier then, without the house, without everything, because we had made a choice to be ourselves.
You can't live through something like that and not have scars, and I don't mean them to sound so negative, because sometimes scars can be positive. What do you notice as
I'm like the old trout in the stream, you know, that no one's ever been able to catch, but they get him up to the side of the boat every once in a while, and he's just all scarred up. He's back in the water.
What are the emotional scars?
Wow.
Man.
That hurt.
It hurt me.
I didn't mean to do that. The emotional scars, I don't know. I used to go, like, I'd walk in the street and I'd see a homeless person, and I for some reason, would look at him and hope, you know, that he didn't look at me, because he would recognize something in me that was just exactly like him and was headed in that direction. A feeling of doom.
Your parents encouraged you, as you said, your mom and your dad, and they never, though, got to see your success.
My father did.
How much of it?
My father was alive until after The Mask had come out, and he knew I was headed in that direction, you know, that really good things were happening. So he saw it, which was amazing, because he really was the inspiration and the one that pushed me to it.
But your mom, when she said, what happens if you don't make it, have you ever thought about what she would think if you were to walk up to her and wave that $20 million check in front of her face?
I don't think she'd be able to conceive of it. It's a wild concept for anybody, but I deserve it.
And the Cable Guy opens this weekend. Coming up on Today, we'll continue with our series on how to talk to your kids. This morning's topic, alcohol and drugs. Martha Stewart will be here with gelatin desserts, or as she prefers to say, gel du jour. And on Forever Young, some difficult questions about seniors and driving. But first, this is Today on NBC.
With everything you can get on an award-winning Nissan Maxima, leasing one may seem very attractive. limited time, we're making it beautiful. Lease a Maxima GXE with automatic transmission for $0 down and $329 a month for 39 months.
You know what this is? It's a whole new world. And this is the only fragrance you'll need.
Hugo?
Yeah, Hugo Boss. Hey, the world is getting smaller. Smell better. Hugo, don't imitate, innovate.
Check out the Hugo Stash Bag, yours for only $50, available at Filene's. This is concentrated fish oil. Gorelick Farms adds fish oil to all their milk, and Gorelick Farms calls it natural. At Hood, we've been serving New Englanders pure, nutritious, great-tasting milk for 150 years. Nothing fishy about it.
You sure you're ready for this? Yeah. America's #1 movie is rocking the critics. The Rock is the drop-dead thrill ride of the year. A rock-solid adrenaline rush. Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery are magnificent. A pulse-pounding 2-hour blast. Hang on for dear life. Connery, Cage, Harris. The Rock, rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
It doesn't have to take a lot of money to make Dad feel loved and pampered on Father's Day. Owen Edwards, a contributing editor of GQ magazine, has pulled together a collection of fun and useful gift ideas that won't strain a child's piggy bank. Owen, good morning. Nice to see you.
How are you?
So what was the goal here? Affordability?
Yes, affordability, but this is, I want to make this the year of the pampered dad. It's time that we started, we fathers deserve this, you know. And,
yes, I think you do.
It's time that we pampered ourselves.
You know, you have a lot of personal grooming products. Do men really like these, or?
Well, my theory is that men really like to be pampered, and they like to pamper themselves, but they don't like their families to know they like it.
Oh, I see.
So I've come up with the notion of stealth pampering, which is that you give a present that has two uses. One is kind of the guy use, and one is the pampering use that we all know. It's our dirty little secret, you know.
Oh,
we're
okay.
really pampering
Or in this
ourselves.
case, your clean little secret with some of
Yes.
these ideas. Tell us about them. For example, this item.
Well, yeah, this. Well, you started with the toughest one, frankly.
That's very cute, Owen.
When you see this, try to think Mel Gibson and not Steffi Graf.
Okay.
I think that's better for us guys. This really replaces the towel that you put around your waist, and it falls off when the UPS guy gets there. This now has Velcro, and it holds up.
Do you want to model it for us?
Well, do I want to? Not really.
Okay.
It's the jacket. I don't know if it's the right
But
blue
this
for it.
basically, you use it when you're shaving or whatever.
Yeah,
and
come out of the shower and
these are how
just
much?
put that on. Everything here is under $20.
And this
is about $20. I think JCPenney carries.
Okay, great. That's a good idea. Okay, let's move on.
This is the good old massage brush, back massage, and the loofah, but they're both nice masculine things with a lot of wood on the handle.
And this is from the Body Shop?
Right. And now, this is kind of the big trend now is for body washes.
Right, right.
But here's what I mean by the stealth pampering. You've got, this is Dial, you've got antibacterial body wash, but up here it says skin conditioning. So the antibacterial is a very guy thing. We fight bacteria, we guys.
Right, and you do it so well.
We do. It's our job. And the skin conditioning means that you get, you know, moister men for the millennium. That's my...
And this is very, very affordable, right?
Yeah, that's $4.
$4.
So that's
but
very
maybe if
easy.
you gave it along with something like this, that would
Well,
be
that's
a nice
what you put a
combo
little
gift.
shower package together. So this together would be about $10.
Okay.
Those two things together.
Now this Old Spice, that's an old
Old
standby, isn't it?
faithful Old Spice, but Old Spice has kind of gone the way men have gone. This is the original, and this is sensitive. So we sensitive guys, there's no alcohol in this, and it makes it doesn't hurt. As a matter of fact, shaving is a pain, literally, and you can also kind of make this stealth pampering work here. This is, you know, a new razor. It doesn't seem like a great gift, but we use razors until they fall apart.
Right.
And, then what you do is you put in, this is Tone, which is a skin care lotion with cocoa butter. You put that in, and then what you do is you tell Dad, put the Tone on first, then the shaving cream, and then shave. And he's going to be a better person for it, trust me.
Okay, all right. And then what's this thing in here?
This is one of my favorite things. It's a radius toothbrush.
That's a big toothbrush.
It's a big toothbrush for a big job first thing in the morning. It's the first toothbrush you want to encounter because it does the job. It just about cleans out your brain.
Yikes.
And, but
like...
it's got a thumb grip, and I can only tell you I use one of these every morning, and I wouldn't be without it. It's really great, and it's about $11.
Got to really open wide for that thing.
Well, a man's mouth.
Yes.
It's for a man's mouth.
All right. Now, what are some of the other things?
This is Revlon's Manly Manicure. And I don't want to hear any comments from this. It's manly. As a matter of fact, they put, if there's anything that this won't clip, you need to go to a doctor immediately.
Right.
So this is about $10, something like that.
Okay, and, from Avon.
Right, and no, from Revlon.
Oh, from Revlon, sorry.
And this is smaller for carrying around. But
and that's nice for traveling.
Yeah, it's nice for traveling, and you know, men's hands deserve a little attention,
Now,
too.
this is interesting. This is sort of for beards and mustaches.
Since I saw you last, I've grown a beard, and so has everybody else in America.
I haven't, I'm happy to report.
No, you haven't. I'm happy to report that, too. But this is the scissors, the mustache brush, the comb, which you can also use on your eyebrows if you're very, very private about it. And then if you want to go all the way, this is mustache wax, but frankly, I don't know why anybody wants a shiny mustache.
Well, I guess if you have one of those handlebar jobs.
Yeah, that's right. If you wanted that Raleigh fingers.
Right, and what about this?
This is the higher end shaving. This was the Gillette stuff, which I think is great stuff. But this is L'Occident, which is from Provence. Very high end, much more expensive. This is kind of the expensive end of the table. This is a shaving brush, which if Dad doesn't use one, he ought to be talked to about it.
Yeah, these are so neat. I love these. I just
it's
like
great, and it really sets up the beard in a very nice way. This is a wooden-handled razor, which is just a little more luxurious.
And how much does that whole set cost?
This whole set costs about $60, but each piece is under $20. So you can put together, if you have 5 kids, you make it pretty easy on them all.
All right, Owen
And then
Edwards.
the rest of this is foot stuff. Great
foot stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, that's something
Take care
to
of the
think
feet,
about.
the rest will follow.
Okay, Owen Edwards, thanks so much for the great ideas.
Great to be here.
Good to see you again.
Una and Zeke, it is Father's Day on Sunday.
Thank you very much for reminding us.
I just wanted them to know.
Thank you for reminding them. And we're back with much more on Today, right after these messages.
MGM proudly presents the most critically acclaimed film of the summer. Moll Flanders is the romance you've been waiting to see. It has all the heart and spirit missing from this season's blockbusters. Beautiful, stunning, 5 stars. A new romantic masterpiece. Morgan Freeman and Forrest Gump's Robin Wright are terrific. Moll Flanders will uplift and inspire you.
I have enough love for the world and you.
Moll Flanders, rated PG-13. Starts Friday.
How you doing? A little nervous?
Yes, I'm a little nervous.
I've got this secret. I buy myself flowers.
Flowers for yourself?
Oh, buying flowers for yourself is the best. Flowers are like fluoride for tough days. Brushing your soul. And flowers give you a healthy smile. Go away, bad days. Even the dentist would recommend it.
Yes, I'm going to buy myself some flowers.
Mr. Buzz?
You'll be all right. You're a big bee.
What do people in Barrow, Alaska think about Lender's frozen bagels? They know frozen, but do they know fresh?
It tastes fresh!
Lender's are frozen fresh, so they taste fresh anytime. Lender's, they taste fresh because they're frozen.
Bayer. Powerful pain relief and so much more.
TCBY treats. This calls for a celebration. TCBY treats. It's time to celebrate.
New TCBY treat stores. All your favorite frozen yogurt, ice cream too, and delicious parfaits, now only $1.79.
This calls for a celebration. TCBY treats. This calls for a celebration. TCBY treats. It's time to celebrate.
Hi there.
Snap, crackle, pop,
Chicken Rice Krispies.
How do you like what we've done with this place?
Yeah, we really have come a long way in here.
You remember those old beanbag chairs? Oh, man.
We wanted something really different, so we went to Pier 1.
Rugs, lamps, stuff for the walls, everything.
We kept finding exactly what we were looking for at Pier 1.
Great stuff.
We found pillows and dishes, great furniture.
We also found pottery and candles, and we found a great new look for our living room, too.
Pretty cool, huh?
Find the good things you're looking for at Pier 1 Imports for a change.
What do you
One
have
cute
there?
idea that Owen didn't mention, 10 free massages personally given by your daughter. That's a cute idea, isn't it?
That's great.
We'll be back after your local news.
You're watching Today, America's favorite morning program.
Tonight on The Tonight Show, George Foreman, plus Ahmad Rashad from the NBA Finals. And have you heard?
Dennis Rodman may be pregnant.
Then Conan's got Dennis Franz, NBC Tonight.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now. Mercury Grand Marquis. It doesn't just stand out, it stands alone.
Because the under 20 Grand Marquis is back. The Boston area's best-selling full-size car is yours for under 20 grand.
The values stand out too.
With this added bonus, no charge maintenance. But hurry, the under 20 Grand Marquis is back. But not for long.
At your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
7 News is brought to you in part by Stop and Shop.
This is a 7 News update.
Good morning once again. I'm Kim Casey. 7:56, already 73 degrees, more muggy weather and some rain here and there. Todd will clear that up right after our top stories. A major cancer scare for residents on Cape Cod. Environmental testing shows the cancer-causing chemical TCE in well water in some homes in Mashpee. Health officials suspect the source is groundwater pollution from Auget Incorporated on Route 28. That company manufactures electronic parts. Mashpee's Finance Committee has voted to pay for installing water filtration systems in 40 homes in the town of Mashpee. People are still talking about a controversial Flaherty fundraiser this morning, organized to help the former House Speaker pay his legal bills. Protesters lined up outside Anthony's Pier 4 restaurant last night to criticize politicians publicly supporting the event. Flaherty resigned the speakership earlier this year after pleading guilty to tax evasion. Hundreds of supporters, including House Speaker Tom Finneran and Senate President Tom Permingham, paid between $100 and $500 to attend. Senators Kennedy and Carrey helped organize the dinner. Well, you don't even have to go outside to get a feeling of today's weather. It is another muggy day. You might find use for the umbrella a little later on. Let's get the details. Todd Gross is standing by for us.
Thanks, Kim, and good morning, everyone. We do have intervals of clouds and sunshine coming in. You know, we had a group of showers move through around 5 a.m. That is offshore. Clear skies coming in its wake, so it's almost a beach day today. Have the umbrella handy, but yes, you can go to the beach. My permission. Take a look at the forecast today right through tomorrow. Intervals of clouds and sunshine. Muggy, brief showers and thunderstorms each afternoon and evening, in particular, especially tomorrow. But today there's a chance, too. Highs in the 80s, lows near 70. Cooler on the south-facing shorelines, only in the 70s there. Partly sunny, warm, less humid for Friday. And that's how it's shaping up. The weekend looks good, by the way, Kim.
All right, we're looking forward to that. Of course, you can't go to the beach if you have to work. We'll have a look at the commute as soon as we get back.
Good night, Jim.
Good night, sir.
Lots of stores claim to save you money, but one gives you more ways to save than any other. Terrific prices, thousands of money-saving store brands, great weekly specials, double coupons, and more experienced shoppers are ending up there every day.
They're back.
To save money, you can't do better than Stop and Shop. It's that simple.
Previously,
We're planning to do a quadruple coronary bypass. Okay, Mr. Rock, we're gonna get you off to sleep. 45 for me.
the doctors at New England Medical Center are among the country's best for cardiac care.
They did 4 bypasses as planned.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, and he's holding his own nicely.
Okay.
He'll be fully awake tomorrow, and you'll be able to spend some time with him.
Thank God.
4 days after surgery, John Rock went home. He continues to do well.
This is crunch time in the morning commute. Not too many bright spots out there. Things have been moving slowly. I'm just hearing word of some trouble on the Mass Pike. Let's check it out with traffic reporter Bill Whiteman.
Thanks, Kim. Mass Pike plugged. Slow moving.
I'll tell you about that in this report. Everything is tied up this morning. Lower decks back into Medford now. The Tobin's all the way back to the center span. The Sumner actually is out to the airport, and that's your best-looking ride. X-Way, Braintree, right into Boston, coming up from Braintree, slow moving the whole way up. Let's take a look at the map and tell you about that problem on the Pike. The Mass Turnpike inbound in Sturbridge, 5 miles of backed-up traffic with a paving project there this morning. And an accident right before the 128 toll plaza on the Pike inbound has it back into Natick. Bill Whiteman, 7 News, Today in New England.
Sounds like you'll need some extra time this morning. If you're sticking around the house, we're back in less than 30 minutes with an update. I'm Kim Casey. Have a great Wednesday.
Was it green? No, 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 no. Was it red? No, 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 no. Was it blue? No, 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 no. Just a little yellow basket. A little yellow basket too.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That was wonderful. You've been listening to the sounds of the Children's Aid Society Chorus from the greater New York area, made up of kids 8 to 16 from all over New York, a true mosaic from homeless shelters, from foster care, from schools, and from community centers. This is Francisco Nunez. He's the director of the Children's Aid Society Chorus. Nice to see you, Francisco.
Nice to see you.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about this group, how it came about, and some of the concerts that you all have been doing lately.
Well, we came together. I was happy to find it with the Children's Aid Society 6 years ago, and since then we have grown to have 100 members, and we've given over 150 performances since then, including Lincoln Center, including London, including Disneyland, of which we're going back, and
wow.
Washington, D.C. So
and you're going to be doing Carnegie Hall, is that right?
We'll be doing Carnegie Hall very soon,
Oh,
yes.
that's exciting. Good for you.
You bring them together, and it's important to teach them about more than just music. What are some of the other things you accomplished by forming the group?
Well, the children get to learn about one another, learn to see other children in the city and share their experiences about music and as well as about friendships, and we're hoping that we are able to do that for them.
Well, they sounded terrific. They've
Thank
got
you.
a lot of pizzazz. Kids, Ella Fitzgerald would be impressed. I have no doubt about that. I especially like the no, 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 and the turn. That was nice, too. Nice work. Anyway, thank you so much for coming by this morning. Thanks very much, boys and girls. Men and women. They're
boys and girls still.
They're a little bit older than boys and girls.
Children of all ages.
Anyway, coming up in this half hour, we're going to be continuing our series on how to talk to kids about blank. This morning, we're going to focus on drugs and alcohol, which is an extremely touchy but very, very important subject for parents to talk with their kids about. So we'll give you some pointers in this half hour.
You should listen to another segment we're having here. You're renovating your apartment?
Yes, yeah, working on it right now.
Going well?
So far, so good.
For some people, though, it can be a nightmare, but it is possible to get it done on time and on budget. We'll tell you about that today. And a little later on, we're going to find out about seniors and driving. Should they give up their licenses at a certain time? We'll talk. It's a touchy subject. We'll find out about that.
All right. But first, we're going to head back inside to Ann Curry at the news desk. Ann?
All right. Thanks a lot, Katie. Good morning once again, everybody. This morning, there is new hope that the Freeman standoff in Montana may soon be over. One of the leaders left the ranch Tuesday to meet with a jailed member of the group. Later, he returned and met with other Freemen at the ranch. Negotiators now think that the standoff could end peacefully as early as tomorrow.